The Makapansgat pebble is not as well known as it deserves to be. Despite its appearance, it's not an artwork. Scientists have tested it, and the marks you can see are the result of natural erosion, not carving. It was found in 1925 in a cave in South Africa, alongside the bones of some Australopithecines who lived there about 3 million years ago. The Australopithecines were creatures like us in many ways, but they were not Homo sapiens, not, strictly speaking, human. The pebble was a surprise because it did not belong geologically in the cave. The nearest place it could have come from is 3 miles away, and it may well have come from much further away than that. Archaeologists believe it was there because one of the Australopithecines picked it up and carried it there. And the archaeologists guess that they picked it up and kept it because, like us, they saw a face in the stone. So the Makapansgat pebble is not the earliest work of art, but it may be the earliest evidence we have of representational seeing, of seeing one thing in another. When you see the face in the stone, you see face and stone at the same time. The face does not cancel the stone, but overlays it in an enigmatic and paradoxical way. There's something magical, inexplicable, about seeing a face that is also a stone. Representational seeing is a fundamental ability, so fundamental that we tend to take it for granted. But without it, there would be no pictures. If the archaeologists are right about the Makapansgat pebble, then representational seeing is older than our humanity and is something biologically built in, not a learned behaviour, though different cultures will develop that ability in different ways. It's no surprise that the picture the Australopithecines saw in the pebble was a face, as this is the most common form of accidental picture that people come across. We can find faces in every kind of surface, and if you look up pareidolia online, you'll find thousands of examples. In 1976, the Viking spacecraft took this photo on the left of some mountains on Mars, which looked, from that position and under that light, like a human face. It sparked all kinds of theories about an alien civilization, when really it told of a very human capacity back here on Earth. Over the centuries, artists have recognised and used this capacity to find pictures in random shapes. Leonardo recommended young artists to look at damp and crumbling walls and find there all kinds of objects and scenes that they could use to turn into paintings. In the 18th century, Alexander Cazens developed a method for painting landscapes, which began with the artist making random blots on a piece of paper and then elaborating on the shapes that they suggested. And in the 19th century, Victor Hugo, who was a prolific artist as well as author, would make drawings by spilling ink or coffee or whatever else was to hand and using the random marks and smudges to create fantastic landscapes with ruined castles or storms at sea. In the early 20th century, this ability to see something in something else became the basis of a personality test, the Rorschach ink blot test. Hermann Rorschach made and printed a series of symmetrical ink blots. The psychologist would hand a card to their patient and ask them, "What might this be?" When you look at the blot, you might see one thing, you might see several things, or you might see nothing at all. Each response would be relevant to the psychologist. The picture you see might take in the whole of the ink blot, or just a part of it. It might be located in the black shape in the centre of the card, or alternatively, it might use the white negative space as the basis of the picture that is seen. There's also no rule to say that you have to look at the card one way up. If you turn it around, you might see something completely different. In the mid-1980s, Andy Warhol made a series of paintings of Rorschach ink blots. They're not copies of the originals, but his own versions, made by putting blobs of paint on a canvas and then folding it over. Apparently, Warhol had misunderstood the process and thought that each patient made an ink blot and then handed it to the doctor to interpret, the idea being that the random action of making an ink blot would reveal the patient's innermost self. It's hard to believe that Warhol would have made any artworks that he thought revealed anything of his innermost self, and the Rorschach paintings are impenetrable in that regard. They don't tell us anything about Warhol, and neither do they say anything much about ourselves. We can still find pictures in the blots if we choose to, but those pictures no longer have any significance because they are not taken up into a larger narrative. Warhol has found a way to stall the interpretive process, empty out meaning, and give his paintings that blankness that he wanted for his art. Warhol would be a bleak place to end, but no one has the last word in art. It's always possible to go back and find something new. Henri Michaud made a series of really interesting drawings in the late 50s and early 60s, like this, which are poised between being a set of random ink blots and being a deliberate drawing of figures and objects. When I look at these drawings, and I'm assuming that I'm a fairly typical viewer here, I see figures and animals sliding in and out of representation. Often the marks in my peripheral vision seem the most figurative, but when I switch my focus to them, they seem to retreat from figuration back towards being arbitrary marks. It is as if Michaud wanted to fix the moment where one thing is turning into another, to enable us to see the faculty that enables us to see pictures. If you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe.